Today I am making an OC using a Pause OC Challenge video off of TikTok. The point of a Pause OC Challenge is that the video will play and have a number of prompts randomized on a character. You pause the video on a specific point, and whatever you pause it on is what you add to your character. These can be really fun to do if you're going through a creative rut or you're going through any type of specific art block. So let's go ahead and watch the video and I'll show you the prompts that I got. I decided to do 2 OCs today, so you'll see the video play on the left and my selections on the right. So I got this pink tone and then this blue tone with markings, and then the eyes for both are just kind of sad eyes. And then I got pink eyes and purple eyes for the second one. Long hair for the first one and corkscrew pigtails for the second. And then I got violet for the first hair color and then like a light blue for the second. Hair accessories and earrings for the first and horns for the second. A fairy outfit, and then I got I guess it's a bunny outfit. Whew. So after all of that, let's go ahead and get started on the first drawing. So for this one, I actually was quite excited to work on it because it really took me out of my usual comfort zone. I draw a lot of darker themed women with goth themes, alternative themes. I draw a lot of witches with, black halter tops and crop tops with mini skirts and fishnets and things like that. So I don't usually draw a lot of pink. I don't draw a lot of ruffles and frilly skirts. So this was more out of my comfort zone for me, and I wanted to make her look nice and cutesy. Now, I honestly couldn't vibe with the eye shape of the original OC generator, so I did not keep the melancholy eyes because honestly, all of the eyes in that prompt were sad eyes. None of them were happy eyes. And I don't really vibe with that. I don't like drawing sad characters that much, so I just didn't. Also, another thing that I kept out was that in this skin tone, the character is covered in scars from self-harm. I did not include those. It's not my vibe to include things like that in my art, so I left those out. It's just not something that I want to include personally. But yeah, other than that, for the most part, I kept the character to the prompt. I just, made a couple creative choices on what I was comfortable with. But I'm quite pleased with how she turned out. I feel like she's very bubblegum pop, which is, like I said, something that I'm not really used to drawing all the time. I only spent about 40 minutes on this drawing, so I didn't put a ton of detail into it, but I still feel like I captured the essence of the OC generator prompts pretty well for the most part. I just really feel like it was a little bit more out of my comfort zone than I thought, but for the most part, she's still pretty cute. So here you can just see me going through and doing my rendering. I go over it quite a few times to just smooth out details in the face area, add the eyebrows, and then add some extra shading details within the hair, and then clean up my sketch. Because at this point, I'm working on one layer, so I'm just basically cleaning up the parts that I don't want in the piece anymore. And then I add some additional highlights into the hair. And then I'm just going through and adding some darker outline to areas just so that it has some separation. And then I'm drawing in her hand. It's just a cheap little hand. It's not meant to be that good, so don't judge my hand, please. And then I drew in her wand. The wand is held a little weird, but it gets the point across, I guess. So at this point, I'm just continuing to clean up the piece and color pick some areas at which I want to use the color and lay out said color in area to fix said area to make it cleaner. Art words. And then I start finally pleating out the skirt, making that look a little bit better, and then going in and adding some shading to that as well. Sometimes I have issues drawing skirts like this, and I don't really know why. I just feel like I have a hard time knowing where the legs come out, and I'm not really sure why that's an issue for me. That's kind of why I don't draw a lot of skirts like this. But now it's finally time to work on the wings. There wasn't really a lot left for me to do other than clean up the initial sketch that was on top of the wings, and then I decided to go through and just add some sparkles to the wings instead, and that really just finished up the piece overall. And then I added the accessories into the hair. So this is the final piece for the first one. The OC is cute, and I do like the result. Now let's go ahead and start on the second piece. I will say that the second one was a little bit harder on me than the first one. I feel like the second one gave me harder prompts to work with. The colors were not great in my opinion, and I honestly was not a big fan of the outfit that I got, so it made it a little bit harder for me to get fully into this piece mentally, but I tried to make it work the best that I could. For this one, I decided to just do a piece of just her standing there with her hand on her hip, some nice devil horns in the back, and then trying my best to kind of match the ambiance, the tone, however I wanted her to look, I suppose. Now, in the original OC prompt, the eyes are quite sad and the face is quite sad, so I wanted to give her more of a melancholy face on this one, much less happy than the original, on the first one that I did. And I feel like that worked out for her. Like I said, I had a little bit of a harder time vibing with this piece altogether. It just wasn't like my favorite one that I did, that's for sure. The hair, this is like my first time ever drawing corkscrew pigtails. I've never drawn them before, so this was more of a trial and error process for me. But I like how the legs turned out and how I did the transparent leggings that I wanted to do. I don't remember if those were even in the original prompt. I just felt like that would be a good idea and it would match quite well. And I feel like it ended up looking pretty nice. I don't know, I just feel like this one doesn't show my artistic abilities as well as the first one does. And then again, I think I only spent about 40 minutes on this one as well, 40 to 45 minutes. So they're not fully rendered. They're not my greatest pieces of work, that is for sure. I just feel like this one doesn't show as well in comparison to what I could do. So maybe the next time I do this, I'll try and maybe do some other sketches before I start working on the final piece. I just feel like I might have jumped in a little too early on this one before really being satisfied with how it looked. But I'm decently happy with it. I just feel like maybe I could have thought a little more about it before I really dove into the piece overall, if that makes sense. And maybe made her do a more dynamic pose. Perhaps it's the pose she's in, or it's just the fact that I just wasn't into the piece mentally because I didn't care for the prompts that I received when I did this particular one. And it made it harder for me to mentally get into the piece, if that makes sense. But I tried my best. I still think she's cute, but I like the first one more. I think she's a lot cuter in my opinion. But I would love to hear your guys' opinion on which one you think is better. I'm sure that you guys probably have some opinions. Now, I feel like her hand ended up looking okay, but I forgot to draw the other hand. So the other hand is still in sketch mode. So that's what I mean by I just wasn't into this piece mentally. But I digress. Anywho, if you enjoy these types of videos, I do invite you to subscribe. I also have a Discord channel that you are welcome to join where we post art and just chit chat about our day. And then, Tell me your favorite one between the two down below and let me know what I should do next. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.